of VCFO, which is an Austin-based professional services firm, and she's renowned for her innovative virtual CFO concept. Welcome, Ellen, to the show.
Thank you, Dana. I appreciate the chance to be here.
I love the word in your bio about trailblazer and that you've been a trailblazer and providing this fractional CFO and CHRO solutions. We've got a lot of leaders, founders, and folks on the call that are definitely difference makers like yourself. And so we'd love to hear your story. How did you get started in the VCFO and creating VCFO and why?
Well, I love to talk about that. So I will tell you that 29 years ago, like more like 30 years ago, I was a very young CFO myself. And I was helping sell a technology company, a telephony technology company, and just realized that there was a lot I didn't know about the process. And I wish I had more experience and expertise to bring to the table. And so I was scouting around looking for it. And after that transaction was over, I realized I was not alone. There's a lot of people who need that. And so that is really where, my interest in doing this came from. But most small, medium-sized businesses are not big enough to have a full-time CFO that's really a CFO, someone who is a strategic leader. There's a lot of people that call different people CFO, but a true CFO can really bring a lot of great, important advice to their clients. So we formed a consulting firm so that we could do it on a fractional basis and work for multiple companies at one time. And that's how we got started.
And how long ago was that, Ellen?
29 years, our 30th anniversary next year.
So are you the
So,
first ones that ever did that? Are you the
well,
first
you did ask about the pioneer part, or the yes,
trailblazer?
trailblazer. So
Yeah.
we also refer to it as pioneered because there wasn't anybody doing this on a fractional basis at that time. There were individuals that might be working for a couple of companies. There was a company called Tatum CFO that some of your audience will be familiar with. They were in Atlanta and started the year before we did. Their approach was different, though, in that it was a full-time CFO in a larger company. We wanted to serve the small, medium-sized business market, which can't afford a full-time CFO, so you have to do it fractional. So all our employees are employees, and they work for multiple companies at one time. We've had just over 6,000 now since we got started, 6,000 clients.
So what's been your biggest learning experience in the 29 years you've been trailblazing and creating this opportunity for your clients and for your employees? Is there one thing that kind of stands out that you've learned over the years that you kind of share with other entrepreneurs, other leaders as they're building their businesses?
Well, I will tell you one thing I think is incredibly important that I didn't appreciate how important it was when we first got started. And partly I think that's a generational thing. That is culture. The culture of the company is so important and it should never be overlooked. And, you can tie dollars and cents to it, but more than that, it's just sort of the heart of your business. And so when I guess early in my career, the executive team would have called writing a check to the symphony culture, right? I mean, seriously, there really wasn't a focus on values or even mission in most of the companies that you would run across. And that has been extremely important to us and extremely important to our clients.
I think that is so powerful. I work a lot with clients and helping them understand not only if they don't have their mission, we help create it, but then their personal mission statement and tied to the bigger mission statement. And then having come from Southwest 25 years in culture, I love culture and I'm big about that. So my question for you is, how did you develop as an entrepreneur? How did you develop your culture within your organization? What was some of the things you did to do that?
Well, I think that the business line that we're in aligns very well with my personal values, which is fortunate. So, we, for many years, we have six. We brought six different values. We brought the employees in to help us sort of sort them out and decide and prioritize. We didn't just mandate them. So I would say it's important to have buy-in and a community discussion around these things. But for many years, integrity was our number one, which you wouldn't be surprised because we're finance people, right? And
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
HR people, and we're going into your business and learning all your secrets. And then people first was the second one.
Mm.
And about 2 years ago, we changed that and we put people first as our number one, because that's the way we try to run our company is with a people first attitude.
Yeah. I love how you switch around, and I love how you brought up your core values. So many people don't know their values, personally and as a group. So was that something that came to you as you were building all this, in the first couple of years, or was it something that just evolved as you were building the culture and everything over the years?
I definitely think that we became more organized around culture as culture itself became more well-known and accepted. And under the leadership of some of our strong HR leaders that have been a part of the practice, they helped us pull out of the ethos who we are and how we operate and memorialize it in a way that spoke to our employees and also our clients.
And so I love how you really focus on the inside of your company first. Let's talk about the outside and your clients. How did you get out there and market, these fractional CFOs? How did you, that was not 29 years ago. It wasn't even like we talked about, it wasn't around.
It
So
wasn't a thing, I can tell you for sure.
yeah. So
So in fact,
how did you do that?
well,
Yeah.
one of my people early days, just to tell you a little story, he looks at me one day and he goes, this idea is never going to catch on. And so I thought that was pretty funny. But
Yeah.
it was lucky. Sometimes luck is good. I'm not going to knock it when it comes with you. So when we started, Austin Ventures was a very large funding source here in the Southwest, a venture capital firm,
Mhm.
and they were at that moment they'd had one of their very first IPO successes, and so their portfolio had seen how wonderful it could be, and they were investing in a lot of small, 2-3 person teams, maybe $1 million, $1.5 million, but certainly not enough to have a full-time CFO. But they appreciated the importance of having the right kind of forecast and budgeting and board reporting and, all of those elements that you need early days. And so that was a really nice partnership right there. But the majority of our business came from referrals through partners that we meet in the market. So we identify who the strongest partner groups are for us, and then we build relationships with them and help them see what kind of clients we're looking for, but also more importantly, what can we bring to them? How can we look for partners that have a common interest in similar clients. So early days, nobody was hiring us over the internet. We didn't have a website. In fact, it was early days just to have an email address. And over time, it's been amazing how much of our business has shifted to internet searches.
Mm. Wow. And it's a common language now, right? It's like a term. Did you all create that? Did you feel like you created that term of these,
Oh, we have the trademark on virtual CFO, but you would
see,
never know it because everybody out there, I even get, I guess somebody sent me a note the other day wanting to sell me the name. I'm like, I already own the name.
how
So,
funny.
yeah, we rebranded as VCFO about, 15 years ago because it's a more defendable name, but
Mm,
we own the trademark on virtual CFO.
I love that. And so where do you see this going? You've been doing this for 29 years. You have amazing leadership. See that you got an amazing leadership recognition from a Lifetime Achievement Award by Vistage. But you've also give a lot to your community. So it sounds like and you've got these 3 offices and all these people that work for you. What do you see the future of where you're taking this company right now?
Well, that's a question I always ask the clients, and I probably don't have as good an answer as some of them have. Right now, what's happening in our industry is a lot of consolidation with private equity coming in, and they have identified the office of the CFO as a area of interest for them. So that's happening with a lot of players in the market. That's not interesting to me. I want to remain independent, and our employees want to do that as well, and available to the small, medium-sized businesses at a price point they can afford.
Yeah, and so right now it's like listening to I hear listening to your customers are number one, just like people first are number one for your inside of your business, but outside it's listening to the customer and letting them kind of grow with them as they have their needs. All I can think about is how many now I hear virtual, marketing
Hmm.
CMOs and virtual. I mean, I'm hearing it in so many different areas. It's becoming part of our language. What do you feel like makes a good virtual CFO?
Well, that's extremely important. We spend a lot of time on recruiting because in fact, I never talk to someone, and I do interview every CFO before we make the ultimate hire decision. They are going to be someone who can engage very credibly and very quickly with a C-level team. Our people have an average of 25 years experience working in industry. We look for people who've actually sat in the seat and been the CFO. We don't want someone whose career has been a controller and then we want to call them a CFO, or maybe they had a different path to whatever they're doing. They really need to have true CFO experience, leading initiatives, building rapport with the board, doing reporting, guiding the department, putting acquisition strategies together if that's the right thing for their industry, making sure the capital structure is in place. And those are things that we don't want our team learning on the job. Actually, they learn a lot on the job, especially our controller level folks that we have on the team. But our CFOs need to come in fully baked with that expertise to guide a client from day one.
That's great. When you mention all of those different traits you're looking for and how involved you get in that, and their years of experience, that's pretty impactful. As I think and read about you, Ellen, and what you've done, and very admirable, you are known as a leader, and I think leadership is what we're passionate about here, and authentic leadership. So talk to me a little bit. You're known for your generosity or authenticity and dedication to improving and helping those around you. Who mentored you, and where did you learn your leadership from?
Well, I'm quite sure the majority of the influence came from my parents and even my grandparents. I was very fortunate to have my grandparents for a long time as a young person. And they had a very strong set of values and a real commitment to giving back to the community through time and money. And I've just always thought that was really the way it needed to be.
And so when you're training your leaders, what are you looking for?
Relative to leadership, and well, that is a part of VCFO. We actually have a division called VCFO Gives, and we very actively engage and encourage our employees to participate in activities that we support through the year. We're always keeping them apprised of contributions that we're making. Most recently, we had issues with the floods here in Central Texas. And then we have a number of people who serve on a number of boards, which really benefit from having someone, and these are volunteer board positions for nonprofits, and they really benefit from having somebody with financial expertise as a part of the mix. So it's an encouragement thing and it's part of our interview process. We talk about it.
About giving back, and
Yes.
just their leadership piece, and how do you keep your leaders trained and making sure, besides giving back and supporting the community and setting on boards as leaders, what ways do you develop your leaders on an ongoing basis? Do you have a leadership program, or do you just kind of have mentors, or how do you keep them engaged and growing and learning as leaders?
Well, I would say several things. We do not have a formal leadership training program. And again, part of our issue is we hire people that are further in their career. They're usually I don't hire a CFO that I don't think is already a fully baked leader. That doesn't mean we can't evolve and get better, and we should all be doing that all the time. But we do have people who are earlier in their career in our controller ranks, and we have defined programs that they can move through that advance them to the next level, both for earnings and title. And part of that is generally from us, it's going to be for them about account leadership. How do you lead an account? How do you communicate with the client? How do we, ensure that we're delivering where we need to, that kind of thing. And then I think that they are well mentored by the CFOs who manage every engagement.
Yeah.
So
That's great. Well, you've got different generations too.
we do.
Yeah. So what is as we get ready to close out, I have one last question. Anything that I haven't asked you about leadership that you want to make sure people hear, or about what as entrepreneurship, because I think so many times we're moving so fast and we're really not thinking about how do we develop ourselves and continue to develop ourselves to be that best leader of an organization. You've been doing this for 29 years. So I'm sure there's a lot of wisdom there. So I'm curious if there's something I haven't asked you or something you want to share that you think would be impactful to these difference makers that are listening today.
Well, I want to touch on the importance of accountability in the organization and walking the talk with accountability. So defining what it is, we use RACI charts to help us make sure that everybody knows what their role is. You don't want two people accountable for something because then no one's accountable for something. So eventually it has to get down to one person. We also then adopted EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. Are you familiar with that?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes. Well, we adopted it in 2018, and then 2019 was our best year ever. And then in 2020, when COVID came through, I was actually out of the country, and was able to call the team. And within 4 days, we had pivoted, and ourselves, we were completely virtual, and we were able to help our clients get through that. And it was because everybody knew their job. Everybody knew what they were responsible for and was rowing in the same direction. So I found EOS extremely helpful, both to pull all of the pieces of the company together and provide visibility to the employees, but also from a accountability and a leadership perspective through the meetings that are organized within EOS. And that also is a good communication channel up and down from the field into the office back to the field. I think it's a good framework to think about.
That's great. And I think it's powerful to have systems that you've been scaling, so having systems that scale, and EOS is a great system to use. So that's awesome. Well, Ellen, I know our time is almost up. I just want to thank you for being here today and for sharing your wisdom. How can people find you or your organization if they're interested?
Well, we are easy to find at VCFO.com. That's a great way to find us. You can also reach out to me on LinkedIn. Happy to connect there, and appreciate the opportunity to talk to your team today.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.